Hello, 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 and welcome to another edition of the Kingstonian Diaries. My name is Rashidi, or that's my handle on Football Manager. My name is Daljit. I'm from Singapore, in case people are still wondering. And today we're going to do something different. Today I'm going to start off the show by doing an analysis of our tactics thus far. I'll also be looking at set piece instructions. I'll also be looking at opposition instructions because if you've been following any of my last few shows, you've noticed that I'm tinkering a fair bit in my matches. That is very common whenever I play LLM football because I need to eke out performances, and that's not always easy. If in lower league management, it's a lot easier if I were to manage a club like Liverpool in the Premiership. Then it's basically an arcade game. I just close my eyes, get the right players in, and it's usually almost impossible not to lift everything. Whereas the biggest challenge is actually with smaller league clubs. They are a lot more challenging because you're forced to play a different kind of a game. All right. Before we start anything else, let's look at how I've done with my tactics this season. This season, I've generally been using a few tactics. I've been using the 4-1-4-1, which is this. I've also used a 4-4-2 system and a 4-3-1-2 system. Now, all these systems eventually I need to analyze, like, how have my tactics been doing. If I'm looking at basically for most of the season, I've been using the 4-4-2 and the 4-1-4-1, and we've used them for basically now 36 matches already. If you're looking at this is the last analysis of the last 15 matches, that would count last season. So if I wanted to make it more accurate, for this season itself, then I'll be looking at the Van Rama conference, and knowing that I've already played 28 games, I would then go to the tactics and then start doing an analysis based on at least the last 30 matches. That will give me a better reflection of how I've performed. Now, we've used the 4-4-2 10 matches. We started this tactic in 10 matches, and to be honest, it doesn't score a lot of goals, and I'm a bit disappointed with it. It scores as many as it concedes, 13. But when I look at how it's done against the top sides, we have scored more goals against the top sides. Against similar rated teams, it's not really done a lot. We've conceded a fair bit, which kind of forced me to switch over to the 4-1-4-1 midway through the season. Midway through the season, I started using the 4-1-4-1 a lot more, and it has turned out to be a much more solid system. It doesn't score, it's not as flashy as my 4-4-2 or even as flashy as my 4-3-1-2. If you look at my 4-3-1-2, it's been miserable. I've used it for 92 minutes. No chances created, chances against every 92 minutes. It's a good system, very hard to score against, but didn't do too well. I even used the 4-4-1-1, used it for a few matches, and then tossed it aside. And then I have this system called the 4-1-2-3, which is basically my 4-3-3. Used it for a couple of matches, binned it as well. So essentially, I'm down to just three systems, but largely the 4-4-2 and the 4-1-4-1. And you can see that the 4-4-2, while it does well against top sides, it's not very good against the similar rated sides, and this is what I'm more concerned about. How does it fare against teams that are similar to me? We have faced quite a few tactics this season. We are really we are wholly against a 4-2-3-1. We've conceded a lot of goals against the 4-2-3-1. Even the 4-4-2, teams that are similar to mine, when I face them, they will invariably score a lot more goals against us. So I am forced into looking at the 4-1-4-1. So I switched over to the 4-1-4-1, and as a result of doing that, our performances improved a lot. Currently in the league, we are, in terms of defensive solidity, Kingstonians are one of the best, probably the best team in terms of defenses. We've kept 16 clean sheets this season. We have the best defensive record in the league. And however, in terms of the other stuff attacking, we're not one of the best. Grimsby have scored more goals than us. We're 14th in terms of goal scoring. Okay, where have all my goals been coming from? Assists have been, if you can see, most of the goals have been shipped from crosses from around the assist locations. So in terms, so I will be looking at how our goals have been coming in. A lot of my goals have been coming from the left flank where Rory Williams plays, and been doing a lot of crosses from there. The other thing I want to start doing is, okay, is there a better way for me to tighten up the ship? And one thing that FM Conference on Full has is a tool that you can use for opposition instructions. And this will cover any permutation on the pitch that you might face. So regardless of whatever tactic you're using, these are locked in. So I now have decided, okay, I'm going to close down the back line. I'm always going to tight mark the wingers. And I'm also going to show as many players onto weaker foot as possible. Playing weaker foot will force them to come inside. And I'm playing narrow, so this is going to be playing to my strengths. If I don't turn them onto the weaker foot, then they'll be able to drill crosses in a lot more easily, and chances are they'll be playing a lot wider. So I reduce the number of goals I concede from crosses by doing this as well. I'm hell bent on keeping a very good defensive record because my goal right now is to make sure that we are hard to beat. So if I were to look at my Kings 4-1-4-1, this system, you can just use this, and then I make sure that my tactics are solid. So in my 4-1-4-1, I make sure that when I'm defending, at least just one player is up front. And my ML is in this position to close down, because if the ball doesn't get cleared and it bounces back this way, my ML can just come off and start pitching a ball over here. In some areas you might want to think, I was thinking of just leaving my ML further forward, but having conceded a lot of goals from corners, I think about 4, that's not a lot, but still, I want to reduce that. I decided to put the ML here. The same with the right flank as well. When I'm defending the right, then it's the MR, not the ML. Okay, what about attacking? In terms of attack, I like to keep possession, okay, during my corners. So I always have MCR or ML or MR in this position. In this case, I should change this. It should be the MR, okay, because I'm attacking from here. So the guy that should be here is actually the right winger. So the right winger is here. You can lay the pass. I can choose to place a shot, or if the ball comes back here, I've got a guy who's actually crossing the ball, who's good at crossing the ball to cross the ball back. Same principle on the left, except I made a mistake here. It's the MCR. It should be the ML. Okay, so the ML does the same thing, and this is actually Rory Williams. And I will go through all my tactics to make sure that I am doing this for all my tactics. Here I've just made one more mistake. It should be the ML. Why? Because the ML's, this is the zone, this is the ML's natural playing positions. I don't want to cross wires, so to speak. On the right flank, yes, this is MR. Once again, I've got this guy attacking from deep, and then if I find that this attack corner routine is probably the best. What about free kicks? Free kicks, well, it's about the same thing. It's not a lot of rocket science in free kicks. Have the right players in the wall, and then have the right players forming a wall when you're defending, and then you have the right players defending. That's about all you can do. I mean, ML is here, MR is here because they're not my best tacklers, and they're not my best markers. So you might as well just do something with your body and mark. Cover that area. Same thing here again. There are basically two things you want to bear in mind when it comes to your routines. The first thing is, if you have a lot of attack routines, they will cycle through. So it's not as if they're going to pick the one that's on the screen. No, they're going to pick from the few that you have. So you want to keep things as simple as possible. Or if you want to be adventurous, know what you're doing. When it comes to attack routines, it's all about keeping possession. When it comes to my defensive routines, because I'm playing an LLM side, it's about not conceding goals. And it's not about launching those quick laser counter-attacks from a set piece. I've done those before with better teams. With my LLM side, I've conceded 4 goals. My goal right now is to make sure that when I am defending, I have the requisite numbers behind, at least one forward. I would love to have 3. I have done that before, but I noticed that I was conceding a fair few, and I've changed it as right now, and hopefully it gets better. Well, here's a quick rundown of our season thus far. We are now level on points with AFC Wimbledon. We were I think it was the last show, we were just 4 points behind, but since then we have reduced that to being level with them. However, we haven't exactly been firing on all cylinders. We win a lot, we draw a lot. Last couple of matches, there's been a lot of 1-0, 0-0, 1-0. It's like a binary sequence here. I mean, we managed to get a good result against Dover, Southport, and then we had this massive win over Bochum Wood. I was just ecstatic over there. But then after that, draws against Lincoln, and then we were knocked out of the FA Cup, and then we beat Boston. But then Margate came around again. In the Margate matches, it's FA Trophy. I just put in the second stringers. I wasn't going to risk my best players, because after that I had away matches: Oxford, Altrincham, Braintree, all in quick sequence. It's like less than 7 days, and I've got to play 3 matches. And basically, it's 10 days, and I have to play 4 matches. It's the end of the year. That sequence, that crazy run that we have. So my goal was to keep my head above water. Oxford City are a tough nut to crack, and so are Braintree. Away to both of them, we managed to draw. Now we've got big matches against Woking, Wrexham, and Macclesfield coming up. Hopefully, we are able to keep the run going. It's not many matches left to the end of the season. We have to do our best to keep pace at the top, and hopefully, we turn in a good performance this season. It looks like I have to revise my expectations. I was aiming for 50 points. We've already achieved the 50 points. I'm not looking at a title. I'm just trying to make sure that we remain between the first top 10. That's my goal for this season. I'm not being too overly optimistic, because if you can see the spread, it's like between 10 points separate Wimbledon from Boston United, and that's very narrow. We haven't played fantastically. We played okay, but I've got to get my act together right now, and I got to keep possession a lot better. So I'm changing things slightly. One of the things that you can do if you wanted to keep possession, I do one of 2 things. Okay, for example, if you were to look at some players like here, okay, his passing is shorter right now, right? Or better still, let's look at Wood, who is my person that's screwing things up. His passing is already the super shortest that he can be. I can't do anything more than that. As a team, you can also tell them to retain possession. When you retain possession, certain things happen. The first thing, if you notice, is your tempo drop. Tempo will drop. Okay, tempo dropping is the first thing. The second thing you'll notice, if you looked at O'Connor earlier, his passing was somewhere around here. Now let's remove that again. Let's go back to remove the shout, and then if we go back to O'Connor again, his passing is shorter passing now. It's a longer bit of shorter passing. Right. I basically don't want to change that, because he does a lot of these great passes, and he's one of my this position is actually Rory Williams. He's one of my bigger assists, guys. You could change to this shout, retain possession. It does affect reduce the tempo and reduces the passing range of a lot of your players. Okay, so that's one bit of information in case you guys didn't know. I'm sure you guys know all that, don't you? They are a pretty good side. 4-4-2. They lost to us 3-1 away. They are not doing too well. They are mid-table, 42 points versus our 54. Not that far, 12 points behind us. We plan to use a 4-1-4-1. Unfortunately for us, some of our players have decided they don't want to play for us anymore. I've got this guy Joe Osler. I hope he gets out, because I can't. He was supposed to be Mihai doing this cover, but he's been a real annoyance. So let's hope for the best. So the whole team is up. Sam Austin is injured as well. And we have a few trialies in the club. I'm still looking for more players. Okay, what about my opposition instructions? Remember earlier I showed you setting out the opposition instructions. This is what's happened now. I don't have to do anything about it. It comes out automatically. If there is MLMR system, they will always tight mark them. And then here, the fullbacks are always going to get closed down. Okay, I already set this up inside the set piece tool, so I don't have to do things different. These guys will always be shown on weaker foot. These guys, nothing here, because I don't do that to them. So that's a good start. Okay, let's see if we can pull a rabbit out of our hats and win. We haven't been scoring a lot of goals in the last 6 matches. I think we only scored 2 goals. Fongkuk with a free kick. Oh, it's knocking about in that area. Our pitch looks horrible. Inman out wide. Hollingsworth with the ball, plays it back to Inman. Inman finds O'Connor. O'Connor, well, he's luckily for him, Fongkok is there. Good ship, drops deep to drop across for Kanye. Kanye to back to Good Ship. Good Ship is playing really deep, trying to get all the other players involved. We're holding on possession really well. Hollingsworth through to Kanye. Kanye scores, and we have taken the lead. What a brilliant passage of play. Oh, they've done so well, that first goal. That first goal was beautiful. There were so many passes in it. Hollingsworth. Finally a true pass. What the heck was Kenya doing over there? I can't complain. He toe pokes the ball back. It's probably his first goal of the season. I want to make sure that my team is in the right position as well. So, let's just check the Kanye. Yep, Kanye is there. Here we go, Kanye again with the throw. Our Good Ship is robbed by Ledbetter. Play a back pass. Come on, the goalkeeper has done a boof. Ria does. He tries to get Rory Williams free. Kanye is there to pick up the ball. Hollingsworth again. Back passes to the Fongkok. Ria again to Good Ship. Good Ship through to Hollingsworth. Hollingsworth to Kanye. Cross the ball. Oh my goodness, these boys are passing it around the ball. Good Ship makes it 2. Yes! 12 games without defeat and 6 games without conceding a goal. We have just set a Van Rama conference record. We haven't conceded a goal in 6 matches. My whole goal this season has been to be defensively solid before I start scoring goals. We have a really tough game after this against Wrexham. Hopefully we don't. I'll have to start looking at my players and start taking them off as well. Emmett O'Connor is at 78%. I need him for the big match against Wrexham coming right up. Probably there won't be. I will reduce training, no training for the next few days. O'Connor to Nisbeth. Nisbeth drops a beautiful ball to Good Ship. Oh, that was such a play. Short corner routine, no. O'Connor goes out to Hollingsworth, back to Williams, crosses it. Oh, they do very well. Okay, let's try something different. Okay. We shall try playing it short on the left and try playing it short on the right. Okay, here we go. We made a change to our corner routines as well in order for us to maintain possession. Now, it doesn't make any sense, right? I want to maintain possession and then I have my goalkeeper kicking long. Sometimes, it doesn't make sense. But I've been finding that his goal kicks always end up in a packed area where one of my players is. And sometimes we get possession. Although, I'm going to change that too. I'm going to take that instruction off. After this passage of play. Lundu, Murray, pick it up, boys, pick it up. Thank you very much. Okay, we'll go to advanced tactics. Putnams, you will roll it to the fullbacks as well. Alright, Ledbetter robs. I think this was Rory Williams. Murray is off like a bullet. He's into the box. And Inman brings him down in the box. It's a penalty. Oh, ref, do not send him off. It's a yellow card. Don't punish us twice. Okay, Inman picks up a yellow card. Alright. I'm blocking this. Oh, I did a bad job. Dan and Lundulu has now given them some daylight. Alright, as you can see, Dean and Man is at 6.2, 6. We had a great start to the match, but somehow or other the rails we've come off our rail. We've come off the rails. Okay, we played well, but we can certainly do better. Hollingsworth to Fongkuk. Fongkuk back. That was a horrible pass from Fongkuk. Hollingsworth, free kick. It's gone into the books. It's going to be a yellow card. No, so you're talking to. Thank you, ref. Okay, Dean Inman is just going from bad to worse, so I'm going to have to take him out. Jack Lamb will take over Dean Inman. Alright. Dean Inman has just lost his confidence, and I can't afford a central defender with less than 6 ratings, and his ratings are just dropping. Williams, back to Kanye. Kanye crosses it. O'Connor can't get to the ball. It was a great cross. Just a bit too long. And Lundulu, he looks up. Oh, Rhea reads the pass, beats Birch to it, Hollingsworth to O'Connor. O'Connor to Goodship. Goodship holds back, checks, passes it to Rhea. There's a lot of width in our team. Looks like it, but yeah, we're playing supremely narrow. We're still holding possession. Okay, now it's time for me to try to reduce the possession even more. Okay. Okay, Ahmed O'Connor's at 64%. We'll take him off now and bring on Harry Taylor for Ahmed O'Connor. A free kick. Burge with the ball, plays it wide to Kinsella. Kinsella to Sterling. Sterling's cross in. They have defended ever so well again. Alright, we're going to take Rhea off. Put on Max Cornhill. Okay, the boys are playing well. They have managed to increase their possession, but they've given up a corner right at the death. Oh, defended well again. Good shit with the ball. Plays it all the way to Williams, who's in the box. It was only just that bit more pace in him. We're going to play this corner short. It's the good shit. It's a throw. No possession, we're still holding on to it. Fongkuk to Cornhill. Cornhill to Taylor. Taylor out wide to Nisbet, crosses it, but it only gets to Cole. There's still some time left on the clock. Are they going to put this up long? And Dulu rises up. Birch, Taylor wins the ball back. Can't get to good ship. Again. Boys are playing ever so well. Holding on to the ball now. Good ship. Out wide to touch. Oh yes, Kingstonians have won this match 2-1 at home. They didn't play too well. Well, I hope you enjoyed today's edition of the show. I have tried in today's episode to explain to you how I can actually turn a system into a sort of a retained possession. I get my possession numbers up in a match itself. So there are basically 3 ways you do it. First one is, okay, you can go to the PIs and set them a shorter passing. That's obvious. Second one, playing on the defense. Yep, that's good, provided you have the players and the outlets. Third thing you can do is you can use the shout retain possession. I don't use that shout a lot. Yeah, I just use it if I want to increase my possession numbers, because retain possession will affect some of the players, but not all of them. Okay, now what about the other thing that we did? I showed you on corners as well, how in an attack scenario I plan to keep possession as well by playing it. Either option is to play short, or I can I have players in the ideal positions where we can turn around possession. In terms of opposition instructions, I also showed you how you can set opposition instructions so that you don't have to keep doing them every other match. The only caveat I'd add is you need to be very wary about tight marking. I'm actually very wary about tight marking itself, because if a player has acceleration is greater than your marking player, chances are he's going to turn that player all the time. So you may want to watch this and adjust this accordingly. I tend to watch this, and sometimes I don't bother. It keeps my matches more exciting. And then you got all this other stuff. Weaker foot. Why do I have so many players targeted with a weaker foot? They are targeted with weaker foot because I want them to play to my strengths. By putting them on a weaker foot, they have to turn inside, right? And I have a narrow field, and I've got a lot of players packed there. So they're going to have to play their way around our targets, and that's not an easy thing to do. You'd have to be a really good side to play your way around a packed field. And so that's it. And in terms of other things that we did, I also showed you analysis where you can actually look at their tactics and decide what you want to do. And as I showed you in the show, I tend to perform a lot better with a 4-1-4-1 as opposed to a 4-4-2. I score more goals with a 4-1-4-1, and I concede less goals against against the top teams. It's a fairly even battle, and my target was not to lose matches. Well, I hope you enjoyed today's edition of the show. I definitely want to do more. I mean, I've got three more to the end of the show, so we'll divvy it up. Like, maybe this is one big show, three, the last show is here, then one more is here, and then one more is here. So, yeah, I want to just do 10 shows and for every season and then try and do something else. If you have any questions, you know where you can find me. You can always drop me a note at Twitter at BusterNet, or you can drop me a longer note at addicted2fm.com. I hope that I've managed to answer some of your questions. If you have any more questions, please let me know, and I'll try and help you guys. This beats like writing a whole gigantic thesis about this. I hope to catch you guys again soon. From me to you, adios.